Okay, welcome everyone. Good morning, and thank you for joining us for this session today. This session is organized in collaboration with the European Commission and Euraccess Africa, and it will spotlight the key priorities of the Mediterranean Initiative 2, a central element of Horizon Europe Work Program 2025. We'll be focusing on opportunities for the regional cooperation with 12 core topics to be presented under this initiative, representing the total budget of around 165 million euro. Let's start with Ninki Bonsman, the head of unit Asia, Pacific, Africa, and the Middle East at DGRTD European Commission. Ninki, the floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Ahmed, and good morning to all of you. Also, welcome on behalf of the European Commission, DG Research and Innovation. Indeed, we would like to thank you for participating in this very important session. I hope it's the same to you, and that it will actually help you in finding partners and proposing projects to Horizon Europe in the next few months. The Mediterranean region remains a strategic partner for the European Union, and we will continue to work with our southern neighbors to promote political stability, economic integration, and cultural exchange. And of course, research and innovation cooperation has been already since many years, but also will continue to be a very important and integral part of this dialogue. Some of you may know that we are at the moment preparing a pact for the Mediterranean. Discussions are going on with the different authorities as well as with the stakeholders. And this has the aim to deepen Euro-Mediterranean cooperation going forward. Collaborative research remains a key enabler in addressing common challenges, including health, climate change, food and energy security. And today we will, in this session, especially my colleagues, will present in more detail what this Mediterranean initiative, the second one in a row, in Horizon Europe looks like. We aim to invest up to 165 million in Euro-Mediterranean cooperation in collaborative research related to projects in health preparedness, agro-climate resilience, and renewable energy, for example. I said this is number 2. Indeed, in the previous work program 23-24 of Horizon, we started with this initiative, with the Mediterranean Initiative 1, that is putting together a number of calls, inviting researchers from Europe and the Mediterranean to work together. This first initiative in the previous work program saw a 60% annual increase in Mediterranean participation in Horizon Europe compared to the previous program, Horizon 2020, with over 1 billion in EU funding and 2,135 institutions involved. So this is quite a dramatic success, and that is the reason why we decided to continue with the Mediterranean Initiative 2 in the current work program. So the Mediterranean Initiative is a direct implementation of our political commitments. Several years ago, we developed together, in the context of the Union for the Mediterranean, research and innovation roadmaps, and these research and innovation roadmaps set out our joint priorities in terms of research investment. These 3 priorities that we agreed on are renewable energy, climate change, and health. And this is why you will also see that most of the calls in the MET initiative are focusing on these priority areas that we decided on together. Maybe as a side information, apart from the Mediterranean Initiative in Horizon Europe, there are further important partnerships that help us implement these political priorities. Most of you will know PRIMA, the Partnership for Research and Innovation in the Mediterranean, which has a focus on water scarcity, food security, and sustainable agriculture in the region. They also contribute to these priorities. And we are at the moment negotiating an agreement with some of the countries in the south to ensure they all will be able to participate in the next 3 years of PRIMA. Another initiative that I wanted to mention is the Blue Mission Med. This is also an initiative that supports our common objectives in the region by funding the protection of marine ecosystems, blue economy innovations, and coastal resilience. So you see, the MET initiative in Horizon Europe does not exist in isolation. It is really part of the political priorities for both sides, but it also exists in close collaboration with other partnerships, such as the one I just mentioned. But my colleagues who are connected with me today, Heba Gabar, our science counselor in Cairo, and also Ahmed Malel, who is leading Euraccess Africa, will provide further details today. But let me, before I finalize, highlight one important instrument that we launched last year. It's called the Euromed RNI Hub. I guess you also received the link today. This hub really provides a one-stop shop for calls for projects, data, and finding partners. So if you're looking for a partner, if you're looking for opportunities, if you need information, please go and visit the Euromed RNI Hub, because this is really a resource we developed, and we are and it's available online especially for you. Maybe one last point in terms of supporting innovation. We will we are starting to focus on this as well in the region. So not only collaborative research, but also making sure that the research results, those that can, of course, reach the market, have an impact on job creation and infrastructure. So for this, we have put together some working groups with experts from the south and the north. But most importantly, also in October later this year, we're organizing a big innovation conference where researchers from the region will be invited to pitch their results to investors. So we really want in the next few months, years, to focus on how do we best make use of the collaborative research that we're funding through Horizon, etc. I think I leave it at that for the moment. So I wish you a very fruitful session. Ask as many questions as you have, because that's what the session is for. And then we look forward to receiving your proposals later this year. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Ninky, for this nice introduction. So let's move forward now. I will give the floor to Heba Gabar from the EU delegation in Egypt. So Heba, she will give us a lot of information, a lot of details about this initiative. So I will try to share my screen for you. Okay, I will do that now. Okay.
Thank you, Ahmed. Until we share the screen, I thank you very much for the always great organization, and welcome all the participants. And I really hope that, as Ninky said, you ask as many questions as possible, and we are here to try to tell you more about Horizon Europe and the calls targeting the Mediterranean and the Mediterranean Initiative too. So the fact that it's Mediterranean Initiative 2 tells us that we are not starting from scratch, and I will try to shed more light on that in a minute. So yes, second slide, please. Next.
Okay.
So international cooperation, in fact, is embedded in the EU policy for research and innovation cooperation. We call it our global approach to research and innovation, where the EU is committed to openness at large, and I will tell you in a minute about the openness of Horizon Europe program in particular. So the EU is committed to openness, committed to supporting values and principles, including such as freedom of academic research and maintaining values and ethics of research as well. And of course, pursue of the level playing field and reciprocity, while maintaining the EU interests but also remaining as open as possible, keeping the EU programs open. And I do not only here refer to Horizon Europe, but other programs that you might have heard about, including, for example, Erasmus, which is very popular among universities in the Southern Neighborhood region. And finally, of course, the main objective of openness is to pool global efforts to tackle global challenges that we are suffering from globally, but also regionally. The Mediterranean region has its own challenges, not very much away from global challenges. The region faces challenges of food security, energy scarcity, climate change, of course, on top of all. And so the idea is to try to pool global and regional efforts to collectively address those challenges. So next, please. So next, yes. So yes, Horizon Europe. Sorry, can we go back? Can we go back? Sorry, can we go
Yes.
back?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, this one.
Yes, yes. So
Yes,
Horizon
yes,
Europe.
okay.
So Horizon Europe is our main program. I heard some questions before we started the session in the like earlier today about what is the difference between Horizon Europe, the Mediterranean Initiative, and PRIMA. So I would like to spend a few minutes to clarify. Horizon Europe is the main program for EU supporting research and innovation in Europe and beyond. It's open for international collaboration. The Mediterranean Initiative is a bunch or some calls under the program that are geographically targeted, meaning targeting cooperation with the Mediterranean region. But I would like to highlight that in general, the program is open also beyond those calls. So while today we will talk about the geographically targeted calls, meaning the calls targeting cooperation with the Mediterranean, or there are also some calls targeting cooperation with Africa, but the program in principle is open beyond those geographically targeted calls. So the Mediterranean Initiative is a bunch of calls geographically targeted, but they remain within the Horizon Europe program. PRIMA is a different program that Ninki mentioned in her opening speech. PRIMA is funded through Horizon Europe and previously through Horizon 2020, but it's a separate program, not a separate program, but it's funded by Horizon Europe and Horizon 2020, but it has its own work program. It launches its calls generally around February every year. The calls are now open with a deadline, I think, early July. The calls under PRIMA primarily target food security and water management and the Nexus. So it's a program and also participating states contribute to the budget of PRIMA. So PRIMA has its own portal where the calls are announced and they are currently open. And if you're interested in those sectors, you can visit PRIMA, a website, to explore the calls. But you will not find the PRIMA calls on the funding and tender portal that we will present today. So now on Horizon Europe, as I said, this is the EU main program for funding research and innovation. It has a budget of a bit close to 95 billion euros, billion, not million. So it's a huge program that has its own structure. It is mainly structured around 3 pillars. Pillar 1 is concerned with excellent science, and this is it has the European Research Council grants, the Marie Sklodowska-Curie grants, and the research infrastructure. The most popular instrument in the South Mediterranean is the Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions, and you will hear in details from my colleague Sohail Luka later today about Marie Curie, but it's mainly the instrument concerned with training and mobility of researchers. And it's also, together with the European Research Council, are the instruments that allows individual researchers to apply. Of course, also Marie Curie has application for institutions. But if you are, for example, an individual looking for a postdoctoral fellowship, then you will probably find opportunities under Marie Curie. And Suhail will talk in details about this. The Mediterranean initiative that we are discussing or presenting today mainly falls within Pillar 2, which is the pillar concerned with global challenges, or in simple words, the typical thematic kind of research that we are all familiar with. It has different clusters: health, culture, creativity, and inclusive society, civil security for society, digital industry and space, climate, energy and mobility, food, biotechnology, resources, agriculture, and environment. Where would the cause of the Mediterranean initiative be? I would tell you in the following slides, but just to highlight that the way the EU usually cooperates with the South Mediterranean region is that we agree on priorities, and then we try to find the funding instruments to support cooperation in those priorities. So, for example, I think back in 2017, we agreed that the priorities at that time were food security and water management. And so the PRIMA program was created to support those. Now, later, I think around 2020 or 2021, we agreed that in addition to the PRIMA priorities, I'm not saying that those are no longer priorities, but in addition to the PRIMA priorities, we agreed that we want to further collaborate on renewable energy, climate, and health. And so the Mediterranean initiative is a reflection on, or the calls targeting the Mediterranean under Horizon Europe are reflecting those priorities, as you will see in the next slides. Next, please. So as I mentioned, the program in principle is committed to openness and access to funding. And those are two different things, because while the program is open to almost all countries to participate, be part of a consortium and apply for to be part of a project, not all countries have access to funding. Southern Mediterranean countries, mainly under Pillar 2, are eligible for automatic funding, meaning that it's not only open, but it was also open to access to funding. A country, an entity, and by entity, I mean, I would like to clarify, it's also an important thing, that we are not only targeting universities or research centers, any legal entity in Arabic. I trust many of the participants are Arabic speakers. جهة ذات كيان قانوني, any legal entity, meaning a university, a research center, a civil society organization, a public entity, a ministry, a think tank, or a private company can apply and have access to funding under the calls that are eligible for automatic funding, mainly the calls that we are presenting today. And then also, in addition to the general openness and the access to funding given to some countries, there is also the targeted international cooperation actions, meaning that there are actions targeting international cooperation at large, not specifying a particular region, but there are targeted international cooperation actions that target particular regions, like the Mediterranean initiative we are presenting today, which targets cooperation with the Mediterranean. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, Horizon Europe, just to recap, Horizon Europe by default is open to almost all countries. For the individual, for the actions looking at, like, as I said, the Marie Curie and the ERC, those are targeting individual researchers of any nationality can apply. Now, important terminology to clarify, because when you visit the EU funding and tender portal, it's very important to be familiar with few terminology. What is association to the program? Associated countries are those countries that contribute to the budget of the program but are not part of the EU member states. 16 countries are associated to Horizon Europe now. I'm not going to read all of them, but you can see them on the screen. In the process of association, Egypt, Morocco, and UK meaning that, so what is the difference between an associated country and a non-associated country? A non-associated country has some of the pillars are not open, but again, for pillar 3 and for the cause that we are presenting today, non-associated countries are eligible to apply and receive funding in principle. Of course, I put that with a disclaimer because you always have to check the eligibility conditions for each and every call you plan to apply for. But in principle, the call we are presenting today are open. So this is the difference between an associated country and a non-associated country. Third countries refer the term, and it's very important also to know that when you read the guidelines, third countries are countries that are not EU member states and are not associated countries. Those are called third countries. Next, please. So targeted international cooperation actions, as I said, those are topics or calls flagged for international cooperation in the work program, including some thematic areas are by default or by the nature of the topic are open for international cooperation, particularly if they address a specific global challenge. And geographically targeted calls like the calls we are presenting today. And of course, there are the multilateral initiatives and collaboration with key partners. It could be a key partner country or region. So going back to the fact that while Horizon Europe is a European program, it is very much open for international cooperation. In fact, in Work Program 25, and Work Program is another term that you need to know if you browse the portal or look at the calls. Work Program is the term we use to describe a catalog of calls. So we usually have a 2 years work program, like we finished Work Program 23-24. And now we are running under Work Program 25, 1 year program. And then the final work programs will be 26-27 under this program. So Work Program 25 is the document or the catalog presenting all the calls that are currently open or will open in the course of 2025 with different deadlines throughout the year. 35% of the calls under Work Program 2025 are flagged for international cooperation. Flagged for international cooperation means that it's either a requirement or encouraged. And then you need to look at the FNT portal. The FNT portal is the funding and tender portal. This is the one-stop shop that has all the calls under not only Horizon Europe, but also, for example, if you visit the funding and tender portal, you can click on Erasmus, which is also a very popular program in the region, and browse the call. So you will visit the portal, you can do filtering. You can filter for international cooperation, you can filter for Mediterranean, you can filter for Africa, or you can filter looking at particular thematic areas. As I mentioned, while we are today talking about the calls flagged for international cooperation with the Mediterranean, many of the calls under Pillar 2, if not all, and again, I put this with a disclaimer, are open for collaboration with the South Mediterranean countries. So I encourage you to have a look and browse the portal beyond the calls that are flagged for Mediterranean or Africa. Next, please. So what did we, as I said, this is Mediterranean Initiative 2. So Mediterranean Initiative 1 was in the work program. And now we are familiar with the term work program 23-24. And we are familiar with the areas of priority. As we mentioned, we agreed, and by we, I mean all the Union for the Mediterranean countries, North and South, collectively agreed that they wish to further work on the areas of health, climate change, and renewable energy. So in the previous work program, we launched 37 topics targeting cooperation with the Mediterranean with a budget of 320 million euro. Mediterranean Initiative 2, and you will notice a drop in the budget, but it's not really a drop in the budget because the previous one was a one-year program, was a two-year program. This initiative is a one-year program, 165 million euro and 12 topics under call for proposal, targeting again the same thematic areas that we wish to work on. As I mentioned, those are, of course, in addition to the PRIMA priorities. And because some of the colleagues earlier today, before we started the seminar, asked about PRIMA, as I mentioned, PRIMA is, you will not find the calls of PRIMA under the funding and tender portal. So you will need to check those separately. So in health, for example, we have calls targeting infectious diseases. Again, under climate change, we will browse some topics in the coming slides, and renewable energy. There are some calls, for example, targeting environmental impacts of offshore and wind energy. Next, please. So this is the list of calls. Where did we get those list of calls from? From the funding and tender portal. If you filter looking at doing the filtering using the Mediterranean, you will be able to find those calls. How can you go back to the call details? You have the call ID or the action ID in the first column, where you can just copy the call ID, paste it on the portal, and then you will find everything you need to know about the call. The budget, the opening date, the deadline for application, which is mainly for those calls, is September 25, and then everything else that you need to do about the call, what is expected, the templates to fill, whether you are eligible or not. And in those cases, as I said, South Mediterranean countries are eligible and eligible for automatic funding. You can check the eligibility conditions, everything you need to know. And as you can see, the calls reflect the priorities or the agreed priorities, including, for example, as I said, infectious diseases, migration and climate change, some social, because I always also get the question, you don't have calls or much looking at social sciences, but social sciences are sort of cross-cutting and mainstreamed in many topics. So, for example, you have open strategic autonomy, economic and research security in EU foreign policy. So I will not read the calls, but we will share the slides with you. And as I said, you can either copy the call ID, post it on the funding and tender portal, in which we are also leaving the link for the funding and tender portal in the last slide, so you can look for the call. Or you can even look for more calls beyond what we are presenting today. Next, please. So this is the second list of calls. As we said, we are presenting, we have 12 topics. Those are the 12 topics, as you can see, also covering areas that I know many of the participants today might be interested in, particularly in the topic of food security, farming, and agro-business food value chains. Those are, while we fund a lot of those thematic areas under PRIMA, but it's also some of them are also funded under Horizon Europe, and normally flagged, particularly under the topic of climate change. Many of those are also funded. This is cluster 6. I earlier presented the clusters, so this is cluster 6 of the program, focusing on food bio economy, natural resources, agriculture, and environment. So you might find a lot of interesting topics of common interest for researchers and innovators in the region under this particular cluster. Next, please. Those are some of the actions that Ninki mentioned in her opening. I would like to draw your attention to the Euromed Hub for R&I. This is a one-stop shop for information and resources useful for community research and innovation stakeholders in the region. The funding and tender portal is where you find the calls, and you would find the calls for Horizon Europe at large. But this is a hub for the Mediterranean R&I community to discover, connect, and learn about funding opportunities, about potential partners, about latest news and information, about upcoming events. So it's a hub or a platform where we are trying to create a community for researchers and innovators in the Mediterranean region. This hub is supported by the European Commission and hosted under the umbrella of the Union for the Mediterranean. You can visit the hub and be part of that community. And then, of course, when we say that we are focusing on renewable energy, climate, and health, it does not mean that we can overlook the other, like the enabling and cross-cutting areas that need to be supported in addition to those three thematic areas. So we are launching 3 working groups under, again, the UFM, supported by the European Commission, to address some of the key enabling and cross-cutting areas that we need to also collectively work on enhancing cooperation on. So there will be a working group on mobility and capacity building, mobility of researchers and capacity building of researchers and innovators and in the region. This is co-chaired by Egypt and Italy. Another group, which is open data and digitalization, which is co-chaired by Jordan and Spain, and a third group that we are also trying to create, which is on scalability of innovation, which is a very important and needed area where we are funding many research and innovation actions, but we need to go the extra mile and support the market uptake or scalability of those funded initiatives. Next slide, please. So this is the portal, the Euromed Research and Innovation Portal, and the hub, and the link to the hub. So I encourage you, please, to, following the session today, is to visit this hub and register as a member, because this hub will be as useful as many members join. So I encourage you to take part in that community. Next slide, please. And finally, as Ninki mentioned, other EU funding, the PRIMA. I spoke a lot about PRIMA today because it's our flagship for research and innovation in the region. Perhaps PRIMA, in fact, is the biggest research and innovation program in the history of the Mediterranean region, with a budget close to 500 million euros, in which the European Commission is providing half of that fund. But as I said, PRIMA has its own website. They manage and launch their own work program. So in addition to the calls that we presented today, please visit the PRIMA website and also explore the currently open calls. There is, of course, the Blue Med mission, focusing on the depollution of the Mediterranean basin, and the Sustainable Blue Economy Partnership. Those are also, you can visit their websites for collaboration and opportunities for networking as well, which is very important. Final slide, please, is the Africa Initiative. Our session today is primarily looking at Mediterranean Initiative, but we also launched 2 previous Africa initiatives in the previous calls, 2021, 2024. And now we have Africa Initiative 3. The calls are currently open for 2025, 23 topics, as Ahmed mentioned, with a budget of 488 million euros. And the same approach. We agree on priorities and we launch calls reflecting, supporting cooperation in those priorities. So the priorities for the Africa Initiative included green transition, innovation and technology, and capacities for science. So if you again visit the funding portal and do the filtering using the word Africa, you will find information about those 23 topics with the various deadlines. Next slide, please. Those are some of the calls. I think we have today a testimonial from our dear friend Dora Fayani, who previously participated on the FNSSA partnership, which is the partnership on food and nutrition security and sustainable agriculture. So we have new calls open in addition to many others. This is just an example. For the sake of time, we will not go through them, but I think Ahmed can also share he will take you through the portal at one point in time in today's session, showing you how to do the filtering using keywords and finding the 23 topics that I just mentioned. Next slide, please. Just highlighting some of the key events, I would particularly like to highlight the EU-African Union and Med Innovation Fair on the 23rd of October in Brussels. This will be the innovation fair where we try to bring together the funded projects in previous initiatives that we would like to showcase in an innovation fair, trying to support, as we said earlier, the scalability or the market uptake of the already funded projects. So this will be upcoming in Brussels. And with that, I leave you with the final slide with the links to everything that I just mentioned. And I would like to also thank you very much and thank Ahmed again for the great organization. Thank you, Ahmed.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Hiba, for this, for all details already given about this wonderful initiative, Mediterranean initiative. So I think now it's time to move to. I don't see Suhail with us today, but I will try to share my screen in order to present Euraccess Africa services, and I'll try to take a live demo about the portal, how to find all call topics under this initiative, and how to try to to participate as a partner or as a coordinator. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen and try to share again. Okay, so I hope that you see my screen now. I'll try to present Euraccess Africa services. And first of all, let me introduce the team of Euraccess Africa. Me, I am based in Tunisia, and my colleague Yilfana Stergi, he is based in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. And both we try to cover the whole continent and to try to organize a lot of events in many African countries. It's like face-to-face events or online events like today. And we provide, as Euraccess Africa, we provide free access to information about research in Europe. We communicate about opportunities for research funding. We try to organize some webinars with the European Research Council, with MSCA. We try to communicate about opportunities under Horizon Europe program. And we organize practical workshops to give tips to pursue a scientific career in Europe. And our goal is to enhance the international collaboration and transnational mobility opportunities. And don't forget that the network of Euraccess is open to all nationalities, research fields, and at all levels. So when you see the portal of Euraccess, you can see only you can type and put in Google Euraccess, access to Europe, Euraccess, and you will see that when you click on the network tab, you will see Euraccess worldwide. After that, you will be able to connect with the 9 hubs in the world, and of course, be connected with us with Euraccess Worldwide Africa. So some photos about our activities in many countries in the continent, in Egypt, in Cairo, in Nigeria, Morocco, in Brussels. This one in Yaoundé in Cameroon. This one also in Cairo. This one in Brussels. this one in Dakar in Senegal, Mauritius, my colleague in Nigeria, in the Nigeria EU Innovation Days, and until today, uh, we pro- we produced more than 850 news articles, and we try to communicate about all opportunities. We communicate about cooperation between Africa and Europe. We try to communicate about funding opportunities, and we are connected with a lot of stakeholders, LNI stakeholders in the continent, like African Union, IUF, the EU delegations in many countries in Africa, the African Academy of Sciences, UNIMED, Union for the Mediterranean. So, and we try to participate in the flagship events like GITEX Africa, organized in April in Marrakech, in Morocco. We try to participate in AfriBusiness Incubator Summit and a lot of events. And our goal is to increase the African participations in Horizon Europe, in particular in the Pillar 1 with MSCA actions, ERC grants, and we try to communicate about the Pillar 2 from Cluster 1 to Cluster 6. And we try to give a lot of assistance to African organizations to be able to participate in all clusters under Pillar 2 in Horizon Europe. And for 2025, the Africa Initiative 3, we have 24 topics with 500 million euro. And today we are talking about the Mediterranean Initiative with more than 165 million euro. So you can see some statistics and figures about the participation of many countries in Africa. And you can see this 1 year difference between March 2024 and May 2025. And you can see, for example, the eligibility proposals, and you can compare the numbers, and you can see it's a good number of eligible proposals, but not only that, we have a lot of retained proposals. You can compare like South Africa, Kenya, Morocco, Ghana, Nigeria, Egypt, Ethiopia. Look, you can see the number. It's huge, and we are try to enhance more and more the participation of a lot of countries in Africa to take the opportunities from Horizon Europe. So when you be back in your Access portal and you click on jobs and opportunities, you will see actually there is more than 10,000 opportunities. So you can create your account for free, of course. You can update your CV, add your all informations about your skills, about your career, and you will be able to match your profile. And of course, you can use filters. So from bachelor positions, master, other positions, PhD positions, postdoc positions, you can click on research profile, research field, you can choose the country, and you can choose the offer type and the sector. And of course, you will see a lot of results. And when you click on job offer, you will be able to see all details about this job offer. Of course, you can apply. If you are PhD student, if you are doctor, if you are senior researchers, we have this opportunity to use your Access portal to get a mobility opportunity and to be able to move and to get a lot of experience from Europe and the world. So as I mentioned before, we communicate about the Pillar 1 in Horizon Europe, and we try to communicate about MSCA actions and ERC grants. So we will organize soon MSCA Africa webinars, 2 sessions, one in English and one in French. We will fix the date with the MSCA unit soon. I think it will be in June. The last week of June, and we will try to communicate about these webinars in our Your Access portal. when you be connected with us, you will receive weekly flash notes. And in this flash note, we try to put all article news, all funding opportunities, all events, and you will be able to have the useful informations, and you will be able to participate and locate the opportunities. So when you click on Euraccess Africa, you will see this button, and you can sign up for free membership to Euraccess Africa. You'll be able to connect with us and connect with all stakeholders. So thank you for your attention, but I want to say that feel free to contact us, africa@euraccess.net, and you will be able to assist you if you have some requests. We'll try to respond to them and try to give you some useful informations in order to assist you and to connect you with the right unit or the right persons who be able to give you the response. So I will try to stop sharing my screen. Hiba, are you here already? Because I want to.
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
Okay. I will try now to move forward to the platform, funding and tender opportunities. And let me just prepare my screen. Okay. Okay. I hope that it's okay. Now I'm in Google, and I will take funding, like funding. And tenders portal. Okay. When we click on funding and tenders portal, okay, we are connected with the FTOP portal. And of course, we have a lot of options. Okay. And first of all, we can click on funding and calls for proposals like that. First of all, we need to select the period. Okay. The period is 21-27. And we need to select. We have a lot of programs, so like Erasmus Plus, a Digital Europe program, Connecting Europe Facility, and for us it's Horizon Europe. We click on Horizon Europe, and for submissions, no need to click and close it. We select only open for submission or forthcoming. Okay. And after that, we click on all filters. So on the right side, we have many options. And of course, you can use the architecture of Horizon Europe. It's the PILIA 1 Excellent Science, the PILIA 2, and the PILIA 3, etc. So no need to use the architecture because we try to find all core topics related to the Mediterranean Initiative. So we have mission, we have destination, but here we have cross-cutting priority. In cross-cutting priority, please click and search for Mediterranean. So you will see here when we click on, when we click on the Mediterranean Initiative and we click on view results, you will be able to see the 12 call topics related to this initiative. Okay, so we have forthcoming or open for submission. Forthcoming means that we will have the opening date soon. So this one, it's 16 September, this one 16. So, but we have all details about this call topic, but for those already open for submission, the opening date is May 2025, and the deadline is 16 September. So let's see, for example, this one, fostering the consolidation of European science diplomacy. It's the same. So the workflow it's the same. Okay, let's click on this call topic. And first of all, we need to say the topic ID. This is the ID of the code of topic. Okay, it's democracy 02. It's cluster 2, 2025. It's a call related to Horizon Europe. And we have many details. The deadline model, the opening date, the deadline, the type of actions. This one is coordination and support actions. And of course, we have the topic description, like the expected outcome of this call topic, and the scope, of course. And we have many useful links and some updates. And we have the topic destination, the topic conditions, and some eligibility criteria. We can look to Annex A or Annex E to see. And for the budget, just I need to see the topic ID. For me, it's democracy 02. Let's see the table of the budget and look to this call topic. So it's democracy 01, and this one is democracy 02. And the budget is 3 million euro, single stage, and one means that the indicative number of grants. It means that in this call topic, the European Commission, they fund only one project. So, but the budget, it can be from 2.5 million euro to 3 million euro. And just to have this information, because we need to see the number of projects it will be found under each call topic, like this, for example, 3, but the budget is 10 million euro. And of course, after that, we can see only the table. We can see this partner search announcement when we click on view edit. Okay. This tool, it's very useful tool because we can use this tool to add our expertise offer or expertise request, of course. But we can see, of course, all organizations based in the world, they try to look also for partners. So, and we can see actually for this call topic, we have more than 35 expertise offers, means that all organizations here, they look to be a partner in this call topic. So we can see all organizations and we can read the short description, but for each one, usually we have like this, some email addresses and some contacts detail like WhatsApp, etc. And you can use all contacts detail, all we can use the contact, the button in the platform. But before that, we need to be connected with our account. As you know, the creation of the account is for free, of course. And when you are the admin for your organization, you will be able to add, like all organizations, an expertise offer or expertise request. The difference between the offer or the request is that if I am the coordinator, try to lead this call topic, try to lead the proposal writing, I want to look for some expertise, so I will put expertise request. But if I'm looking to be a partner, usually I want to add expertise offer, so it means that I offer my expertise. I try to be visible for all stakeholders, for all organizations. They look for the same call topic. So, for example, when we try to click on just to have an idea, when we click for Albanian Institute of Technology, we can see some details about the institutions or this organization. We can see the program or role. For this one, they don't have expertise before, but we can try to look for other. For example, I don't know if this one. Yes, for example, this enterprise based in Austria, they have 3 projects, and you can see the description, of course, and you can see they have in Horizon 2020, 1 Horizon Europe, and 1 Erasmus Plus, and they take role 1 as a coordinator in Horizon Europe, and 2 as a beneficiaries. And of course, we can see all details about the whole project. So why I click on this organization, just to have an idea about the expertise of these organizations. So this is the first way to participate in a cold topic under Horizon Europe is to use this tool for partner search. And of course, if I am admin, so I will try to give you this demonstration. I will try to connect with my account. Okay. When I'm connected with my account, you will see here a new button. It's ads. When I click on ads, so the platform asks me, so I need the expertise request or expertise offer. I will put expertise offer. Okay. And I will click on University of SUS, for example, because I am the admin in the account of the University of SUS. I can use the account of my university to participate in this course topic. I have the PIC number. It's from Tunisia. And I have this to add a description. It's a short description. And after that, I will click on publish. So I will be visible for other organizations. They look for the same cold topic to be partner. It's a way to try to participate in Horizon Europe. So I will try to now to give you another way is to be connected with the NCPs, the national contact point. So when we click on help desk and support, and of course we need to select Horizon Europe. Okay. And here we have national contact points for Horizon Europe. When we click here, we'll be able to see some filters. Of course, for example, if we are based in Egypt and we look to have some connections, for example, from Germany, okay, and our field is the field of, for example, health, okay. So we have 8 results. It means that we have 8 NCPs in the health NCPs. So, and we'll be able to use the number and contact them. Of course, we can just say that we are a grid team based on Egypt, and we are interested to participate in Horizon Europe, and you should put the cold topic ID in your email in order to be precise. And the NCPs have the whole network in Germany. They try to assist you and share your request in the network in Germany, and you'll be able to have some connections from Germany if they have tried to leading some projects in the health. Thematic of health. It's cluster 1 and pillar 2 in Horizon Europe. Just, I want to stop sharing my screen now and go back to Heba and to see if Suhail already there. If not, we can see our colleagues from Egypt to its session for scientist thoughts. So I will stop sharing my screen. Heba? Please.
I'm not sure if Suhail is already here. I don't see him. So I think if he's not here, I think we should go ahead and move forward, Ahmed.
Yes, exact. Yes, exact. So I think we have now the session of testimonials by scientists who are already have the experience in Horizon Europe and European projects in general. So let's start by Dora Fiani. Dora, are you there?
There.
Nice. Okay. Dora, the floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I would like to present to the group the experience of an entity, our NGO, which is not a research entity. It's not, we are not a university, we are not a research center. We are much more coming from the side of the, I would say, private sector, entrepreneurship for sure. And I must say that the interface with major research organizations, which we had the privilege to know and work with, such as Wageningen University in the Netherlands, McGill in Canada, and the several CGIAR groups in different African countries. Excuse me, I forgot to close the line. There. Is extremely rich. And I also believe that it is also extremely rich for the different research agencies. So what I would like to mention as key, I would say, key points within the different Horizon Europe programs I had the pleasure to participate to, is the fact that the mix European-African is really extremely powerful and yielding major results, in the sense that generally the knowledge and the models are coming from the European side, but as well from the different programs European research agencies have been implementing in Africa, and in the same time, the knowledge acquired in the African countries. What I would like to add to this is a topic which may not have been really covered till now in the different projects, and that is the concept of multi-actor partnership. Multi-actor, I mean by this the different target groups, not just bicontinental. In the LEAP for FNSSA, we were in charge of North Africa and of piloting methods and means of communication to the private sector at large about research and innovation. We run a number of events, a number of webinars, a number of conferences, and what came out very clearly is the major interest of the private sector, not only the large companies, but as well the financial entities, the financial development partners, as well as, of course, farmers' organizations, to be able to find means, practical means, effective means of dialogue with the research community. And we managed to verify this within this LEAP for FNSSA program, also to verify the interest in institutionalizing this relation through clusters, for example. And I see this as being a very important direction which should be taken within Horizon Europe at large, in the sense that at the end of the day, it's really the private sector who is going to implement the research and innovation. So they need to be brought on board from the beginning. That is the main take from my experience within LEAP for FNSSA. I would like to add that we are now on a second Horizon Europe program called Food Safety for Africa, again with Wageningen University, McGill, and a number of CGIAR groups. And there again, by definition, food safety for Africa cannot be just studying and coming up with solutions in terms of research and innovation. It has to address how do you bring on board the different target groups who are going to make this happen on the ground? And I would like to close by thanking the EU, because the start of our NGO, and especially the digital agriculture platform we have developed since 2015, was based on an Egyptian European Innovation Fund. So we are thankful to the EU on many grounds. And I'm open to questions on different topics you would like to, or different questions you would like to cover.
Okay, thanks, Dora, for this nice introduction and your sharing your expertise. So let's move to Zohra Mirabet, Executive Director, North-South Consultant Exchange. Zohra, are you there with us? Zohra?
Ahmed, I can't recall that you've mentioned the name of the NGO I'm chairing. When you presented me, I think you mentioned my name only.
Yeah,
Yes?
no, okay, it's Knowledge Economy Foundation.
Yes,
Yes, of
please.
course.
Knowledge
Sorry for
Economy
that.
Foundation.
Yeah, sorry for that, yes.
And the name of the platform is Bashair. You know what
Bashair,
Bashair
okay.
means, of course.
Yeah, of course, yes. It's based in Cairo?
Yes, it's based in Cairo.
Okay, nice, okay.
We work in many different governorates, of course, but the office is centered in Cairo.
Okay, nice, okay. So until wait for Zohra, let's
Yes,
see
I'm
if,
here.
yeah, okay, Zohra.
Yeah,
So Zohra,
so,
yes, please take the floor.
okay. Do you have?
Can you
Yes.
open your cam if you want?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Okay.
Just do you have can you share? Because I actually from what okay. So what I did basically, since we had a little exchange,
Yes.
I
Yeah, we
just
can see.
decided to have a little
Just if you can put full screen.
yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Okay, so what I basically did is, I think it's a little bit just practical presentation that I will give, and that was also coming out of the small exchange I had with you and Heba yesterday. To one to say is testimonial of what kind of program we have been working with, and maybe also giving some points, recommendation to whoever out of this assistance would like actually to participate. Okay, so the first question was actually, how did we actually get into participating in this program? Okay, so we are a private sector, we are a consulting firm, but also we have a practical research experience. We do a lot of evaluation, study, feasibility studies, and then so we have part which is the practical research experience. And on the other hand, and as also mentioned already with Heba, the Horizon Europe, or the Research and Innovation Program of EU, has been also one of the objectives was also to facilitate the linkages between the research results from research institutes and the private sector in order to facilitate actually some implementation of a result of research. It doesn't stay in a drawer. And so in that context, we have been the prime initiator. We are not, I think, in this program that we have been working with. In principle, we have not been the prime initiator in the identification of a selection of research grant opportunity. In principle, we have been actually contacted by EU Research Institute, who had actually done a first selection, and ask us, invite us actually to join them, to be the members of the private sector in the program, and also to bring the perspective of the South Mediterranean countries. And also in that, our main role has been often being able to actually bring implementation and a field research in managing communication and dissemination about the project activities. Now, as an example of a project, we are actually, some of them have been, we just finished, and some of them are still ongoing. And I would like to say that actually we're very familiar with the research program of the EU because we worked on FP6, FP7, Horizon 2020, now we are Horizon Europe. So at the moment we have a free program that can be an example. We have one, we just closed the PRIMA Plan B, then there is a FAIRVIL, and then the Trusty Food, okay? Then as you see that there is quite, each of these programs actually bring quite a large number of institutions, some from the European Union, the majority from the European Union, and some from the South. I take the example of PRIMA because we have been talking a lot about PRIMA. PRIMA was an interesting, but Plan B was actually a program to improve protection and management of citrus production through protecting and improvement of beekeeping. FAIRVIL, which is currently actually implemented, is managed, or the coordinator is the National Research Center, the French National Research Center. There are 17 institutions, and it's actually researching and piloting a new concept, which is called the co-production. So it's going a little bit beyond what we call participatory approach, participatory research. The co-production intended to actually bring all the stakeholders on a specific issue, urban issue, and actually to try to elaborate solution. And that is basically targeting actually the marginalized area in urban situation where the voice of the resident actually have usually do not reach actually the policymaker or the just simply the local authority. The third one, and that's so the primary PRIMA Plan B is with the coordinator is a Greek research institute. FAIRVIL is the French National Research Center. And third one, Trusty Food, is a program which is about the blockchain. It's targeting actually introduction of blockchain in the agri-food sector. Blockchain, some of you or many of you know, has been all the time looked or considered really like one of the technology which has been implemented for the crypto money and for the finance. And but it has, of course, a much wider I would say application, and it in the case of agri-food value chain in the agri-food, it's also looking at the earlier program. Actually, we worked many years ago was traceability. How do you trace the food from the farmer to the fork? In order also, basically, it's actually to open the gate to the European market from the South producers. Okay. Now, another question was, how did this program actually have impacted on the beneficiaries? Okay. I think Dora has also mentioned quite some points about the very positive impact on the beneficiary. And when you say the beneficiary, I mean, there are at least two levels of beneficiaries. One is the member of a consortium which is implementing the research program, because there is a lot of exchange learning, working in a multicultural situation, gaining experience on how do you do the teamwork and manage with a different country, different languages. That I think it's an experience which has benefited from the north and from the south. And the part that also is important for South is what I see, for example, in our own organization. We have definitely, over this program, improved the competencies of our staff in communication, in research skill, and also in project management and digital agility skills. For example, we have been in charge for PRIMA, essentially for disseminating and increasing the communication and sharing between all the members of the consortium. So there was a very regular development of, a platform and also exchange and contact with every member in order to actually follow up and share some of the progress of the results. Now, for the final beneficiaries, final beneficiaries can be either citizen, but also government institution. In the case of PRIMA B, where we have actually, I would say, the most visible and measurable impact was among the farmers, like for example in Egypt, the farmers in Upper Egypt or in the Delta who were growing citrus. They actually benefited from training, because the research was bringing, I would say, the value chain of all the research process about how you protect, how you improve a crop, and also how you protect and how you improve the I would say the role of the bees in actually improving the fertilization of the crops, but also for the control of the pesticide. And then there was also the other part, which was very important, the introduction of medicinal and aromatic plants for the protection of the crops. So that was actually a very direct but also the second one, of course, one of the partner was ARC, the Agriculture Research Center of Egypt, and they have been also be able to actually expand, I would say, some of the tools and the research that they have been working on. Trusted Food is also another case where the blockchain is still something which needs to be actually better understood, see the benefit, and also there is a large part of it which is actually legal, regulator, control, etc. So through on one side we had a very large number of research center, university, suppliers who were working on that. And from our side, we were actually in charge of the two points. One was actually identifying and bringing the stakeholders from the South, and that wasn't only from Egypt, it was also from the region and from Africa, bringing them together to talk about the experience, those who are actually using only traceability system or actually have moved into a blockchain system. So we had farmers, we had companies, suppliers, and also regulators. And that was, I think, one of the benefits was opening up a wider horizon and also dialogue between the different actors and stakeholders of how the Trusted Food could actually be blockchain actually could be actually introduced and multiply and replace the old traceability system. The Fairville is actually a program where we still actually, I would say, we passed the first year. It's not the foundation, but it's also a very special program in the sense that it's bringing up how you work with and how does it work with the communities and creating the dialogue between the residents in deprived areas from infrastructure and from services. You bring in the local government and bringing also suppliers, whether they are formal or informal. And in our very case, was to, and we're still working on that part of it, it's addressing the issue of solid waste management collection in some of the area of Giza. So in what I think, which is a very early stage, which is the second year, and it has taken some time to actually get the permit and the possibility to work directly actually with the different actors. One of the things which is very interesting, and I think it will develop, and that will be part of the research actually, is the creating the contact, the dialogue between the citizen and the local authority and also the supplier. So one is to understand how it works, and secondly, by creating this dialogue, there is a phenomena of, I think, empowerment of a citizen to be able to actually work, talk, communicate with the local authority in order to elaborate together and not the top-down some of the solution. And that is actually under a research program, and that works. We have 4 labs. We are in charge of 1 lab, and there are 3 more in Germany, in Greece, and in the UK. Okay, now recommendation, I think, and again, it's a very practical from our side to give some of the recommendation to those who are interested to come and may not have yet maybe some of the experience about this program. And my recommendation, in a way, they follow up or, you know, a practical experience of what already Ahmed has, you know, elaborated very, I would say, in a very more comprehensive way. I would really recommend that whoever is interested to really go through in the site to actually study, review the research, and identify really area of interest and capability that for the institution that you could actually enter it. Also very important, because working on this Horizon program, as you have seen, you actually work with a large number of institutions which don't have the same cultural organization. I mean, if you work with the university or private sector of Germany or Italy, they are very different way of working. So it's very important to actually also review who are the proposed members of the consortium. And I think we have, so it's interesting because now there is a very practical application to actually try to identify, you know, some at least of the coordinators and maybe some of the members. The other part is, and that I hope it's also in the application, the most important thing is actually to see that the coordinator, the organization which is going to be the lead, and the coordinator has actually a good experience on the teamwork and also in you know, management of a very complex EU procurement and reporting system. So I think that's a very important one, and at the same time to be able to actually manage this very different organization. I can take with case, for example, Trusty Food, for example. It's actually quite something to be able to have people to contribute, to lead, to innovate, and to communicate and share. Also, it's very important. I mean, if I assume that you could be in the same situation we are from the South, so often you are much more invited to actually join a research program rather than we have found a program and we are looking for our organization. I think it is very important that you actually be able to participate in the very beginning in the concept of the research. Not that it comes, you know, it's all the packaging and then they ask you to be part of it because we need to have a South partner in the consortium. And then I think the positive and important point, which is more or less my conclusions, is that the Horizon Europe program has very good tools actually now for proposal development, identifying partnership agreements. And that's, by the way, it's very important that there are already, a model of partnership agreement that is really good and actually give transparency and right to every member. And then I was just recommending that you take time to review everything, read it, decide, discuss, and that will certainly enhance your participation, effective participation in the project development and implementation. And that's the end of it. And I hope, I would like first, of course, to thank Heba and Ahmed for inviting me to share our experience, and I wish good luck to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Zahra. Thank you also, Dora. I think it's time now to move forward to the Q&A sessions. Heba, you are here. We try to see some questions and we try to respond together. And we have our colleagues, Dora and Zahra. They have a lot of experience. And I think we try to, yes, we have already Mohammed Hussein. Mohammed Hussein, please go ahead.
Yeah, do you hear me? Yes. I'm
Yes.
Mohammed Hussein from Egypt, and currently I'm a group leader in KIT, Germany, Karlsruhe Institute of Technology. I'm just a little bit confused about the funding for the project. For example, the project Horizon CL4 2025-04 Digital Emergency. This call. When I open the funding, I found several links for the fund, five or six topics, and this topic is not exist. So I wanted to know the fund for this project.
Okay, I will try to share the screen.
Yeah, here, this is the call
Okay,
number.
okay. This one?
Perfect. Yeah.
This one, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you look for what? For the budget?
For the budget, yes, for the fund.
Okay, for the budget. Okay, the first thing to do is to have the ID, topic ID. The topic
Yes.
ID is Digital Emerging 01, okay? This one.
Okay.
And after that, you have the table and you look for the topic ID. So just I want to see, we'll see together, just want to remember Digital.
Emergency 01.
Okay, let's see together. We'll see. Yes, this one.
So it's 5 project, everyone 5 million?
Yes. So the whole budget of this call topic is 25 million euro. And the commission, they fund 5 projects. So each one from 4 million to 6 million euro. Okay?
Okay, great.
It's
The
okay.
eligibility here should be 3 partners from 3 different countries.
Yes, the rule is to have usually at least one member state, 2 associate country. Okay, at least 1 member state. If not, it's 2 member states, 2 partners from member states, and 1 associate country, or 3 from member states. But at least we need at least 1 from
members.
Member state. Yes.
Okay,
This is the rule.
We need here a company, industrial partner or not?
It depends, but I think it's innovation acts. Let's see. It's innovation actions. Usually, when we see the type of action related to innovation actions, usually we need to have a partner from industrial part. So I think it will be okay, but you should see your contribution in this call topic. And your contribution is linked to your expertise.
Okay.
This
Is this call
yes.
is this call pure European or related to African? I need African partner, or this call is pure for European fund?
So for Okay, let's share again. Okay, if you look for
Horizon
African, yeah, Horizon Europe for Africa initiative, it's the same like the Mediterranean initiative. So we need to use filters, and we need. Okay, just I will show you how to
Yes.
find the call topics related to the Africa initiative. So this one, Africa, and we have
Okay.
24 call topics and view results, and all call topics related to Africa initiative. The participation of African organizations is mandatory. Okay, but of course, for the whole Horizon Europe, the whole PA2 call topics, we are eligible. We can participate. Each legally organizations can participate as a partner. This is the rule. It's Hiba already said that the openness of the program. So Hiba, if you want to say something, please go ahead.
Yeah. As I said, in principle, yes. I think for the industry partner, you might be comparing with PRIMA, where the participation of an industry partner is an eligibility requirement. We have to differentiate between an eligibility requirement and what is expected or encouraged, or not necessarily an eligibility requirement. I can advise in general, but each call you have to go through the eligibility conditions and read them carefully. Because for some geographically targeted calls for Africa, the presence of partners from Africa is mandatory. Mandatory meaning it's an eligibility condition. You need to have 2 African partners, for example. For some calls encouraging international cooperation at large, or something similar, sometimes it's encouraged. So I would advise in general that you need to look at the eligibility conditions, because if you fail to meet the eligibility conditions, your proposal will fail the admin check. And since I cannot advise on each and every call, I can say that in general, all calls under Pillar 2 are open for participation of, as Ahmed said, for South Mediterranean entities, including the private sector. They are eligible to participate. And I can say that in general, yes, as Ahmed said, for an innovation action, private sector, of course, will be expected in the consortium. Whether it's an eligibility condition to have an industry partner, this has to be checked in the eligibility guidelines of this particular call. And the minimum requirements have to be met. And I highlight that these are minimum requirements, meaning that having 3 partners in member states or associated countries is the minimum, but you can add on top of those. So those are the general principles, but you have to look at the eligibility conditions, and this would give you the sort of the final answer for this particular call.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hiba. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's see. We have some questions. Okay, Stefano, please go ahead. Yes.
Okay, good. I'm from the Mediterranean University here in Italy at Reggio di Calabria. And the first question I want to ask you, you developed this new, let's say, portal. It's called the Euromed Hub, where they should assist you in your activities. Who shall we contact? This means I try to contact the Union of Mediterranean, because I think you mentioned Union of Mediterranean as a hub, but it's impossible to contact them. There are 10, 15 telephone numbers, and I'm not able to discuss with no one about this Euro-Mediterranean hub. This is the first question I want to ask. The second question is from me. Is this hub in the Mediterranean just a collection of Mediterranean projects and therefore opportunities, or you really develop a hub where you can provide a service in a way of assisting the beneficiary in prepare projects, in monitoring, and all these things? For instance, I'm interested in developing a data hub in the Mediterranean countries Now, this concept of a data hub, I don't see any of this call dealing with data. They are dealing with digitalization, but not really using data as innovation. Anyhow, we tried several times, but I think we did not succeed because we use data. And what is this new horizontal Mediterranean program? Is using the same approach of, for example, PRIMA. If this is so, I don't think we are interested to participate because we are looking for innovation using data. But you are using just digitalization, but are not data. So can you a little bit, just if I can have the contact of the Euromed hub, because I would like to discuss this issue.
Okay. Hiba, in front.
Yes, okay. So who to contact? Normally this hub, if you want to register as a member, you can just do it. No need to contact. But if you have any questions about the hub itself, or you want further information, or you want to make suggestions on how the hub can be upgraded to be of further value, you please feel free to contact me directly. I can write my email in the chat.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That's for sure. The hub is meant to be is to create a community, as I said. We just launched it in April last year, and we are in the process of learning and adapting. And so we are open to comments and suggestions. Eventually, what we want to create is a community. We want to attract as many members as possible. We want to create perhaps peer consultation forums on different thematic areas, perhaps to include chat rooms, perhaps to include an area where we can support the scalability of already funded projects. So we are open to new ideas, and please feel free to contact me directly. I will put my email in the chat. It was launched in April last year.
Yeah.
And the Commission supported the creation of the hub. And just early this year, we moved it under the umbrella of the UFM to ensure its sustainability, but we will continue to support it. And I will write my email in the chat in case not everybody has it. And please feel free to contact me directly.
When you say we, who are the
We, I mean the European Commission.
You are from the European Commission itself?
Yes,
okay,
I'm from DG Research and Innovation.
But this was some call for proposal, or you just...
No, it was
just
through
an agreement.
A contractor that when we realized that there is a need for the research and innovation community to have a hub to share data, to where we post information about our upcoming events like the one today or the innovation fair we are organizing in Brussels, or launch post calls for proposals, funding opportunities, create an environment where you need partners from the member states, like South Mediterranean countries need partners like yourself from the north in order to be able to apply and tap into the available funds. So we thought to create this hub to allow also for communication of various stakeholders. And so we, as the European Commission, created this portal through a contractor. And we launched it April last year. And we realized that some similar portals were created under the umbrella of projects, but they were not sustainable. They ended with the end of the project, or they were only thematic portals, either focusing on some kind of thematic area. So we wanted to create something sustainable and more inclusive. And thus we created this portal.
That is very interesting, because we, as University of Mediterranean, Reggio di Calabria, what we have now, we have support from the Joint Research Center in Brussels to develop a demonstrator for transformation of the territory. Digital transformation of territory is a new initiative of the European Union. And what is our intention is to build this digital territorial hub to provide, with data and tools inside, in order to provide a service to the territory as pilot projects. So in this context, I think I will link with you because it will be very
Yes.
good to discuss. Because you see, we don't want a project as now. We want innovation and build startups, innovative at territorial level. Today, you can do this only if you have the data and tools that you can create in any sector. For instance, I'm doing with the health sector now, and this is the idea. We have a small project, a demonstrator, in order that you can expand or scale up for different regions. But my concern is, if you go to the different call for proposal, there is nothing mentioned about the new approach, data, innovation, startup. They are traditional and classical that are very good, but still they're not moved towards the real innovation at territorial level. But anyhow,
Yes,
I'm in touch. I have it with
yeah,
email. Let's discuss this type of question. Thank you.
yeah. I put my email. Please feel free to contact me, and then perhaps we can also see how can we link you with the working group that is co-chaired by Egypt and Italy, working on capacity building and mobility in the region.
That's what I
And
have
also,
but it's not mobility. It's more related with
yeah, but this group is
transformation.
not only
Yes,
working on
mobility,
mobility, it's also working on capacity building. And one of the capacities that we think is lagging a bit in the region is the issue of further communication and connectivity. And we have a different group on scalability of innovations, exactly what you are saying. And one of the things we are exploring is to actually create an innovation marketplace to be part of this hub.
Exactly.
So we can discuss ideas. Please feel free to contact me directly.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Okay, thank you, Stefano. Let's see. We have a lot of questions, Hiba. Let's see. Okay. This is hello. Thanks for the information. Can a PhD student working in topics similar Horizon Europe Mediterranean Initiative get to have the opportunity to get the research funding? It's not the goal. So if you are a PhD student, you can find a lot of opportunities in your access portal. But for Horizon Europe, in Pillar 2, you need to participate with your organization. Usually organizations, not individual. For individual, we have some calls in MSCA, and we will try to organize soon 2 webinars related to MSCA Africa webinars. So it's like a button up, not up down. And the project and the idea comes from the researchers. But for Horizon Europe, Mediterranean initiatives, it's about organizations, NNI organizations, so university, laboratory, research center, startups, enterprise. It depends of the call topic. So this is the question. We have project located in Madagascar is eligible. Yes. Yes. I think yes, because you can participate as a partner, and each legal entity can participate. But as already Hiba said, that you should see the eligibility criteria, because for each call topic we have some eligibility regions. So you should see before be involved in this. The project. So we have new questions, two live questions from Abir Samir and Marie Concilia. So let's give and Abir. Mary?
Yeah, thank you very much. I was here yesterday for the French presentation, and I'm glad to be here again today for just trying to get as much information as possible to see I can navigate. Thank you very much again. For the presentation. My question goes to Dora, because I wanted to understand more on the purpose of their funding. She said they were from private sector, And they were able, as a private sector entrepreneur, they got funding for the Horizon Europe funding. I tried to understand the purpose. I wasn't able to nail it. And then if I can have her email and the name of our organization.
Okay, Dora.
I'm putting my finger on. Thank you very much for the question. In fact, the whole spirit of the Horizon Europe, as it has been explained, is to fund research and innovation in Europe, then in Europe and the Mediterranean, then in Europe, the Mediterranean and Africa, based on the facts of the necessity, as explained in fact very well by Hiba and Ahmed, that it corresponds to the EU policies in general. So they are putting their money where the mouth is, as they say, and they are indeed funding research and innovation in our area. But that is based on the assumption that indeed research and innovation need to be supported and funded by institutions such as the EU, and this is correct. What we had the opportunity to work on a Horizon Europe program precisely, named LEAP for FNSSA, which purpose was to test the concept of having a permanent platform of exchange of information and cooperation between African and European entities within the African Union and European Union Strategic Partnership Program in FNSSA. So we were more specifically in charge of the North African region and of implementing pilots which would bring together the different stakeholders on a regional level to discuss and design what could be a platform of research and innovation shared on a regional, then continental base. And what I was explaining is that we worked, we studied the North African region, and we discovered quickly that contrary to the other, I think that this is a valuable point, contrary to the other African region, there is no North Africa Regional Economic Center, same as there is one in West Africa, CORAF, there is another one in East Africa, and there is a third one, two other ones, South Africa and Central Africa. There is no such thing at the level of North Africa. So the study we have made and what we have presented to the project coordinator who approved it and considered that it's a very interesting approach is to say, well, who are the driving force in North Africa? It's not the governments, it's the private sector. So what we should do is to test the concept of regional cluster at the North African level with the private sector, which is what we've done during the course of this project. And the very interesting outcome was the interest, the genuine interest of the private sector in, at last, finding a solution to coordinate with the research, to make sure that research, which they value and they understand the importance of research and innovation, could address the problems they face, the issues they face at value chain level, supply chain level, and so on. And not only the private operators, but as well the funders who are looking all the time at projects which have the likelihood of succeeding. And what we found during this work is the fact that the private sector, the large operators, of course, were ready to step in and to share the costs of research, provided they can be at the table of the definition of research. So that was really testing how the dialogue could take place. And it was extremely interesting. And I do hope that the coming Horizon Europe programs will insist on this concept of multi-actor, meaning all the target groups. I hope I replied to your question.
Very well.
Thank you. And I hope, I believe that Ahmed is going to circulate the emails of all of us.
Can I add
of course.
And your email, name of your NGO and your email.
Okay.
Can I speak a little bit?
Yes, Stefano, go ahead.
I find it very interesting, this concept of Mrs. Dorta, because what we try to do in Calabria, this building first, this digital cluster at the regional level. A digital cluster means private sector, government, universities, and et cetera, et cetera. Now, the aim of a digital cluster is to share data, to share tools, to share information. Who has done that and is a very advanced level, I recommend to see them, is the digital cluster in Catalonia, where I am a member. The digital cluster in Catalonia, they put together all this type of information and they work together at regional level. They build the lab, the hub. What I'm doing in this contest, I'm trying to build the data hub that is essential for have regional innovation startups, and then let's grow the regional innovation startup. That's why I will be interested to discuss with EBA about this new approach that I support. I mean, you try to do this in North Africa. I try to do also with Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, and Turkey, involving the universities. And I think this is the right approach.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stefani. Thank you, Dora. Thank you also, Mary. So, Abir Samir, please go ahead.
I didn't get the information of Dora, the NGO.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's knowledge. I mean, I can send it by email to you. The NGO name is Knowledge Economy Foundation. And our digital platform, which is pretty well known in Egypt, is Bashair.
Perhaps you can post it in the chat, Dora.
You can put it in the chat.
Yeah, perhaps you can
chat,
just post it in the chat. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Abir, no. Okay, let's pass to Emmanuel. Emmanuel.
Thank you very much. I am Emmanuel John, the CEO of Ochenwell Mobility. I'm based in Abuja, Nigeria. I attended the session yesterday as well. The session focused on Nigeria, and I asked some questions which were not responded to. So I think this also provides the opportunity, as it's also relevant to all of the conversation here. The first of my question is that of the different areas where these grants are available, there was no specific mention of urban transport, which is my area of expertise and where our organization deals on. So I was wondering if it just fits into any of the other existing areas, or there are going to be a specific mention of this in some other calls that will come up. That's my first question. The second question is, I've had reason to, though not under the Euro Access, I've had reason to participate in a call and apply for a project, and we have a European counterpart. And rather than being the technical support, they want to take over the project. And this led to some squabbles along the way, because we are applying for the project. You are supposed to be a partner, but you want to own it. And that has a way of affecting. So how have you put some safeguards to ensure that this does not happen if we choose to go ahead with applying for this? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel. Hiba, if you want.
Sorry, Ahmed, I'm joining from my phone, so I was disconnected. Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
He have two questions. The first one is related to some call topics related to urban transport. If there is some call topics related to these fields. So because he has some expertise in this field, so he want to look for some call topics related to that. Emmanuel, you can correct me if I'm in mistake, okay?
Sustainable urban transport. I did not find specific calls relating to that. So I was wondering if such exists.
Yeah, under cluster 4, you will find the relevant calls. And normally, again, entities in African countries are eligible to participate and receive funding under Pillar 2, Cluster 4. So this is where I would advise you to explore possible topics.
Yes, it's cluster 4 and sometimes cluster 5. It's 4, 5,
yes,
but
sometimes,
4, yes, 4, 5. If I can share just share my screen.
Again, we presented the calls under the Mediterranean Initiative, but other calls are also open. So if you're, for example, interested in digital related calls or space related calls, and they are not, or culture and creativity, and they're not covered under covered by the Africa Initiative or the Mediterranean Initiative, you are still eligible to apply for those calls. While they're not geographically targeted, but they remain open.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
The second question.
Second question, if you can repeat it, Maria, please.
Okay, the second question I was referring to, I participated in a particular call a few years ago, and one of the requirements was to have a European partner. And rather than be the European partner supporting us technically, they want to own the project. And this led to some concerns at that time. So I was wondering if you have put some safeguards to prevent the European partner trying to own the project rather than providing technical support.
That's a very interesting question. And the simple answer is usually there are two types of agreements. One is the standard agreement that the European Commission signs with the coordinator or the project partners, and this is a kind of agreement, a grant agreement that treats everyone sort of on equal foot. And then there is the consortium agreement. Those are the back-to-back agreements that the consortium members have among themselves or between the consortium members and the coordinator. And those kind of agreements that are not the ones that the Commission has a say in. So the simple answer is our agreements with the coordinator and the partners are pretty much standard and the same, and they safeguard the interests and the welfare of everyone in equal ways. The back-to-back agreements that the consortium partners have among themselves or with the coordinator are sort of an internal thing that needs to be discussed among the partners.
All right, thank you.
Okay. I think just we can see some questions from the chat before we finish the webinar, Hiba. But you want to see some questions? What do you think? We have some questions, and after that we can come to the end. So
yeah, I see some questions related to the eligibility of some entities to participate some related to location of the project. Location of the project is not the same as location of the entity participating. If you mean by location of the project where the action of the project takes place, I think this varies depending on the project objectives, expected impact. So location of the activities is one thing, and location of the entity that plans to apply is another thing. So in terms of eligibility of entities, again, I refer to the eligibility conditions. You have to, I would in fact suggest that the first document you read when you look at a call that you're interested in is the eligibility condition. And then where the project will be created or where the action takes place, this again boils down to the agreement of the consortium member. Our dear friend Zohra here, for example, part of the project activities is taking place in Cairo, in Giza Governorate in Cairo, while the project is coordinated by a French entity. So activities are flexible depending on that you want to achieve a particular impact. So, but the location of the entity is where the eligibility conditions apply.
Okay, we have some questions. For example, this is from Italia. So thanks for all information. Could an Italian association, NGO, apply as an associate country? Italy is yes, but it's not. It's member state. So of course, yes. So what about Nigeria? What specific program can it's Africa Initiative? So yesterday we as we South Africa with my colleague Rifana and the DGRTD team with Vincenzo and the whole team, we organized a webinar focused on Nigeria with more than 900 participants online. So, and we will have the recording video. You can see the recording video in the YouTube channel, and you will see all opportunities given to Nigerian researchers and innovators. So, okay, Hiba, if you want to see where, okay, where
I see a question about Algeria.
Algeria, okay.
Algeria is an associate country, no. It is a third country, but it still, again, can apply for all the calls under Pillar 2. Algerian colleagues, researchers, innovators, private sector entities can apply. Algerian researchers and innovators can apply for Marie Curie under Pillar 1, and of course the European Research Council grants as well. This does not put a limitation on any nationality, whether from an associated country or not.
Yes, of course. I see two similar questions now. Dear Ahmed, I'm new here. What is the first step should I do start? Accept personal initiative, or I need to make networking before, etc. And the similar questions, I'm looking forward to advice, as it's my first applying to Horizon Europe project. Do you think it's better to apply as a partner, or I can be a coordinator? Yeah, of course, it's as a partner. If it is the first time, I advise you to be to participate as a partner, to have the experience, and you will be able to coordinate if you have the sufficient resources in your organizations to be able to manage the project, because it's huge work for managing Horizon Europe project. And of course, I advise you to be connected with us, to be connected with Euraccess Africa. You will be able to read all flash notes on newsletter, and we organize a lot of practical workshops, and we try to give a lot of assistance and some technical aspects, how to participate, how to look a partner, how to create a big number, how to create your organization, how to update your CV, so be connected, be informed, and when you learn a lot, you'll be able to participate in Horizon Europe. I don't know if there's some questions, Hiba. What do you think?
I'm good, Ahmed. Thank you.
Yes, I think we come to the end now, 2 hours with our this webinar. I want to say that the recording video for this webinar, it will be available as well as slides also. We'll share with you all slides, so we'll be able to see all links. You can of course contact us if you want, africa@euraccess.net. I put already the email of Euraccess in the chat. So I want to thanks a lot Dora and Zohra, of course, and I give you the final words before so finish this webinar. So Dora, if you want the final words from you.
Yes. Oops.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Well, I would like to congratulate you for having taken this initiative. And Hiba, I would really recommend that we have more of them, not necessarily every month, of course, but it could be very useful to have, let's say, twice a year or even once a year, maybe on different subjects, because I see great value in exchanges, not just exchanges of experience, but also, I mean, for example, what the colleague from Calabria mentioned about the digital cluster is great, because it definitely adds an additional angle to the absolute necessity to bring all the different target groups working together and being nearer to each other. So thank you again.
Thank you, Dora, for accepting our invitation. And now we pass to Zohra. Zohra, the final word.
Yes, yeah. My final word, of course, the first one is to thank you for this initiative, because I think it was actually very interesting, because it was a combination on one side about you giving, general information, which is nice, introduced, but, it's a lot of digesting. So I really encourage all the participants to actually go through it and take time to read and go through the information you have provided. And I think the most interesting part was actually the second part, where there was a lot of newcomers in the program and asking, very basic question about how to work. And I think that was a very useful, and I would actually recommend that maybe webinar or even enlarging in the exchange program you have, very simple question: how do I start? Where do I start? What does it mean? I think that is the most important that I see when it comes to the subject. I think it's a lot to, again, it's a lot to understand or to build experience on how not only to work about the program, but more importantly, and we found it very challenging, is actually to work in a consortium. I mean, for example, Emmanuel John was talking about the case of the project that he had, and also the issue. That is actually so important to have a good understanding, a good agreement that it is fair for everybody. So thank you again. And I think there is already the general, I know for Fairville, for example, we actually found a very good kind of second level agreement, not the one with the coordinator, but among the consortium members. And I think it was actually online, and we just adapted and aligned it. And if it's not, I would recommend perhaps to put some kind of guideline model for internal consortium agreement, because it is key. It's a very complex management, the process of having these different organizations in different countries. And I think that would be a good thing to do. And again, thank you very much. And I would also actually join Dora to really recommend that you do more of this kind of, exchange. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Zohra, for your words. So I think now we come to the end with Hiba. And Hiba, I think we will try to organize soon a great event in Egypt in collaboration with Euraccess, and we try to promote all core topics. And yes, go ahead, Hiba.
Excellent idea. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. Thank you, Zohra, Durra, and all colleagues who participated, and we are very happy to help, and we remain available for any further questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think we come to the end now. Just 3 words from my side: be informed, be connected, and be proactive. And bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.